Hello and welcome back to my channel, Grey Woman UK. Today I want to talk about water. Water is a precious resource, one all of us in first world countries are guilty of taking for granted. It's not until we enter a period of drought and get the dreaded hosepipe bans do we remember that it could potentially run out. With warmer winters and drier springs, drought risk is becoming more and more frequent in the UK. While the likelihood of the taps running dry is extremely unlikely, we are at risk of plumbing problems and at the mercy of burst water mains. Therefore, everyone, whether you're a prepper or not, should have a stock of 72 hours worth of water to get you through any emergency. It's even recommended on the government's Prepare campaign website that was launched last year, where they provide a list of emergency supplies that everyone in the UK should stock up on. The website recommends at least 2.5 litres of drinking water per person per day, with 10 litres per person per day to provide things like basic cooking, cleaning and hygiene needs. However, this largely depends on each person and it doesn't include things like children and pets. But we can use it as a guide to figure out how much water to stock up on. If we stick to the 2.5 litres suggestion, each adult in your household needs 7.5 litres of water each day to see you through a 3-day emergency. This extends to 30 litres if you want to include cooking and cleaning and hygiene for an individual for those 3 days. So this means you're looking at stocking up on 37.5 litres of water, which is a hell of a lot of water. And that's only for one person. If you're on your own, okay, maybe that's fair enough, but throw in a partner, adult children, it soon mounts up. Most of us don't have the space to store that kind of water, and even if you did, why would you want to? So you need to kind of think about what it is that you want to prepare for. How comfortable do you want to be? Like I'm prepping for Tuesday events, which means it's like for the everyday things that could go wrong. So for instance, we get a burst pipe, our pipes start leaking and we have to turn the water off, or we get a burst water main. I mean, they're so common these days. Many people in our area have been having them, and it's just by luck that we haven't been affected yet. We've had some very low pressure days where the water has been, not quite a trickle, but it's low. So that's the closest we've come so far. If you're prepping for things like the apocalypse, the end of the world, and life beyond that, that's a whole different kettle of fish. No. So for me, it's just like the everyday things. I mean, worst case scenario, if we got a burst water main, we're likely to be without water for, on average, 24 hours. And getting through a crisis of that, it's not even really a crisis for 24 hours, but it's doable, like depending on when you've discovered you've got no water. You may have already had your shower in the morning, you've washed your hair, you've cleaned your teeth, you've done all that. But even if you haven't, for one day, it's not the end of the world. Your biggest issues is going to be flushing the toilet, keeping yourself clean, like washing your hands, preparing food, and providing water for your pets. I mean, that is a big thing. Make sure you've got water for your pets, and your children if you have them. And for 24 hours, I mean, I say you could probably do without a shower, or if you're a member of a gym or some kind of health club, or if you have the facilities at work, you can go do it there, or pop round to a family member if they're not in the same area as you and also suffering. You can order takeaway for dinner or get something out of the freezer, and same with the toilet. You can probably, it's going to get grim, but you can manage, especially if you're not at home most of the day. If you're at work, your kids are at school, you're going to be fine. You'll get through 24 hours. If a crisis goes on beyond that, like I said, we'll be told to prepare for any potential emergency, for up to 72 hours. If whatever's causing your water shortage goes on into the next day, that's where things are going to get tough. And so therefore, you need to sort of think to yourself, what is it that you want to have? How much water do you want to have to make your life easier? Do you want it for cooking? How much do you want it for, like, flushing the toilet? For how much you want to keep yourself clean? How many kettles do you boil a day for your cup of tea? How many pets water dishes do you need to fill up? Do you have a CPAP machine that you use in the reservoir? Do you have people in your household that regularly take meds and therefore need a lot of water? You know, just all things to like take into consideration. Things like plants, I mean, unless you've got veg plants, in a crisis, they'll have to make do. Yeah, it's just... but it's also worth remembering that these guidelines, like 2.5 litres of drinking water per person per day, is when there's nothing else to drink. You know, that's just the average the human body needs on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't take into consideration any other drink that you might have during the day, or any kind of food, excuse me, that you use to hydrate yourself. I mean, for us, I mean, if we lost water for even a couple of days, really, we always have a stock of soft drinks and flavoured water, juices that we drink on a day-to-day basis, and we always kind of have a week's worth of those at any one time. So yeah, if the taps went dry tonight, we still got something to drink, you know, and we could just supplement with water as it went throughout the day. You know, that isn't everything that we would need to get us through. So that's also something to bear in mind. You are likely to have other sources of hydration in your house. So you need to think of really how to get through the bigger things. So again, like how are you going to flush the toilet? Lately I've been storing the grey water from our dehumidifier into these empty 5 litre bottles, because otherwise it's just going down the sink and it's going to waste. I did do a TikTok video saying about you can use it on your plants and things like that. They don't recommend using it on veg plants or any food, you know, any plants that you intend to eat, because of whatever chemicals and pollutants that are in the air that is now in the water, which is why that's not safe to drink. They don't, you know, can't wash with it. I mean, in a shit hit the fan scenario, I mean, what you get, yeah. So we're saving it for flushing the toilet. The dehumidifier, the reservoir, you know, the water collection thing is only about 2.5 litres, I think. We've tried that down the toilet, and that is not enough. It wasn't, you know, so there wasn't enough water, or the pouring wasn't man enough to, you know, flush it. We have yet to try actually a whole entire 5 litre, so that is something we're going to put to the test at some point. It might require pouring into a bucket first and then shove that down the toilet, so it's more of a waterfall, like a torrent. But yeah, so, and this means we don't have to waste the fresh drinking water, because yeah, stocking up on that just to pour it down the toilet when you could be drinking it or cooking with it, you know, it feels like a waste, you know. So that is currently what our plan is. We have in total 14, I think, of these 2 litre bottles, of the 2 litre bottles there, which will get us through about 2 days. It's not enough. I would be happy to have at least one other 6-pack of these to see us through. Yeah, and if the crisis goes on beyond that, then I think there's probably bigger things to worry about. But so that is what we've got so far, is our water plan, as if we, you know, for planning to, you know, our plan if we run out of water. One thing to bear in mind when stocking up on things like this is to check your dates. This water actually has quite a long date on them. I don't know whether you can, where is it? Oh, there it is. So 2027, we got 2 years, and I've already checked, they're all dated for some time in 2027. So, I mean, we'll go through them before then. And then we've also got, I think, 2 full 5 litre jugs. I don't know what containers, there we go. And we've got one that's about half full. So next time we empty the dehumidifier, we'll fill that 3rd one up. And then I'll probably, yeah, I'll test it. Just see if it'll flush the toilet. So there we go. So I think that's everything. So this is what I'm personally doing. Let me know in the comments what your plans are to stock up on water. Are you stocking up on water? And if so, what are your reasons for it? Is it for Tuesday preps like what I'm doing, or are you, well, stocking up for the end of the world? So yeah, let me know in the comments, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.